captain of the ship today. I hope we'll have a good learning from him, and I wish him all the best. Let's welcome him with a big round of applause. Toastmaster Deepu. And with this, I open the meeting number 338. Thank you. Over to you.
As you have seen, good evening again, Toastmasters and guests. So today's theme for meeting is growth mindset. You can already see there is a growth mindset and there is a fixed mindset. They are looking at each other. Now, there is nothing wrong with the fixed mindset if you are already comfortable with where you are and you have no appetite for any risk or growth. But if you really need to accelerate your career or growth, if you need to expand your opportunities or expand your exposure, if you believe in manifestation, if you need to team build, you really need to stay with growth mindset. Now, one of the interesting benefit from the growth mindset, if you look at the second chart, I print it out already in the agenda copy. Backside you can see the same one in case if it is not visible. So in the blue color, 5%, this is based on some international studies. The 5% is what we know. This is basically our strength. Then the 15% which is in the red is what we know we don't know. Basically our weakness, which we will cover through any training programs or something. The rest 80% is what we don't know, which means we are not even aware that we don't know. So if we are not even aware, there is no way we can cover it through any training program or nothing. So the more you stay with the growth mindset, slowly this green portion will start unfolding. And once you start working towards filling those gaps and acquiring those skills, you will evolve in your profession or in your business. It is easy to develop a growth mindset, but it's not easy to stay with the growth mindset, especially for those who have busy schedule. No time to try something new, no time to learn something new, no time to take responsibilities or new roles. So I will just introduce quickly a simple tool which you can use for planning. So there is 4 quadrants in this matrix you can see. So first quadrant number 1 is important versus urgent. Second quadrant, important versus not urgent. Third quadrant, not important but urgent. Fourth quadrant, not important, not urgent. So in the first one, what you do, you just do it. No need to plan, no need to postpone, nothing, just do it. Anything with a deadline, anything which have a consequence if you don't complete on time, just do it. Which is important and not urgent, schedule it and follow the schedule or the plans. If it is not important but urgent, any routine task or anything which don't need your specific skill set, delegate it. The fourth quadrant, which is not important, not urgent, like internet browsing or some unproductive meetings, delete it. So initially when you start working on this matrix, you might have a lot of actions in the first quadrant, which is important and urgent. But give it a jump start, take a couple of days leave to work on it or take some support. The more you keep the first quadrant empty, which is important and urgent, the more you will be able to stay with the growth mindset. Please welcome our acting president for thought of the day.
I can sleep when there is a storm. I can sleep when there is a storm. I would like to narrate a story of a farmer to understand this statement. There was a farmer who had a nice land, agricultural land in a village. He was cultivating for a very long time and he became old. He needs an assistant. So he went for a recruitment. So he went on every month. They go to a market and sell their agricultural produce. So he went to the market to sell his produce and also recruit a person. So he went with a board that I need an assistant. So 2-3 people came, like a HR. He did an interview. People came with an experience. He rejected, but there is one young chap who came to him. He found that he's an interesting guy. He can be molded. So he asked him one question: what is that you can do for me? And he said, I can sleep when there is a storm. That was a funny answer for him, but again he asked, tell me again, what do you want to do for me? He said, I can sleep when there is a storm. He was very serious when he gave the answer. He was an interesting guy. It was like quixotic, the answer was, but still he found it interesting. He brought him to I recruited him and he offered him a room where he can stay. And he worked for about 1 month. One night there was a heavy rain, there was a storm. The farmer woke up at 12 in the midnight and found that there's a heavy rain, storm, winds. So he came out, he was panicked and he thought, okay, a lot of my agricultural produce will go for a toss. So let me go and protect. So he wanted his assistant to wake up. He went there, he was in a deep sleep, he was sleeping. Oh, he knocked the door, he opened the door, opened the door and he went inside, he was sleeping. He called him several times, he's not waking up. So he said, okay, let me go and do whatever I need to do. When he went to the place where there is agricultural produce, he found that everything is well protected, everything is kept aside, covered with the plastics or whatever it is needs to be done. So he went to the cattle shed where there are cows and goats. He found that they are well tied, properly tied. All the grass that is required is kept there, and it is covered with all so that the water won't enter. And he went to see about the poultry. He found that the ducks and the hens are all well protected. Then he understood the meaning of I can sleep when there is a storm. It's about being proactive. Okay, we do a lot of planning. Every day we do a lot of planning, and we go when we go to the place, sometimes there will be a lot of things will happen. We should always have a plan B, a proactive approach, be prepared for the things that is to come. So with this thought of the day, I hand over to Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, TM Mussafah. Before we move on to the important part of this meeting, please welcome timer Yusuf for the timing rules for prepared speeches.
Good evening, everybody. So for the speeches today, we're going to have 4 speakers. So each speaker will have 4 minutes minimum. And then we will turn on the amber light at 5 minutes and the red light at 6 minutes. He will have 20 seconds of grace period.
Thank you, Yusuf. So our first speaker, Toastmaster Divya, is also our VP Admission. VP Divya is being evaluated by Toastmaster Abdul Rahman. Please welcome Abdul Rahman to share the speech title and objective with us.
Project is for the members to introduce themselves to the club and learn basic structure of public speaking. Over to you. All the best, Toastmaster Divya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahman. The Queen of Arabian Sea. Have you all heard of a place called that? A place rich in history, which is known as a trading port since centuries. A place where there is the influence of Dutch, Portuguese and British. A place where Vasco da Gama was laid to rest for 14 years before the remains were moved to Lisbon in Portugal. Good evening, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I am Divya Dharmaraj from Cochin, which is also called the Queen of Arabian Sea, here to present my icebreaker speech. As I stand before you today, I would like to transport all of you to a serene coastal village in the west part of Cochin. It is called Idakochi. If you focus, you can see my home, one side of which is surrounded by rich paddy fields full of water lilies. On the other side, you can see the beautiful Vembanad Lake, with fishing nets, fishing boats, Chinese nets, and canoes. There is a railway bridge opposite to our shore, and as children, we used to sit and watch the trains passing by. When I think about my childhood and my village, the first thing that comes to my mind is the mesmerizing beauty of the sun rising over the horizon from across the lake. During the harvest season, I could hear the women singing songs while going on with their work. During the off season, when farming was not an option, I could see women neck deep in water with a pot on their back trying to catch fishes from the paddy fields. Nights, they were mesmerizing. So long back, we used to have power cuts, and I still remember the beauty of Wembenard Lake lit with moonlight while the fishermen walked along the shore with a lamp in their hand. The lamp was called Petromax. Coming to my family, we are 2 daughters, me being the younger one. My dad was quite courageous, very active, and a bit aggressive. My mom was a very devoted wife and mother. So even from childhood, I remember him seeking opinions from us on almost all the things. He used to give us pocket money and asked us to do things on our own and also depend upon him for small things. And this has shaped us in becoming the person we are today. Now, few things which I remember, like as a child, I was very fond of fish. So what happens when there is no fish at home for food, I used to create a scene. And I remember when I knew that there was no fish for lunch, what I used to do is I used to take the fishing rod at my home, used to get the fish from the paddy fields, clean it and cook it all by myself for lunch. After completing my 10th and 12th grade in my native village, I pursued an engineering degree in information technology. After that, I started working in a company called Tata Elxsi in a place, Technopark Trivandrum, where I was introduced to the world of softwares and information technology. I worked there for 5 to 6 years. The time spent there was amazing. We were all free. The only responsibility we had was to work. It also enhanced my decision-making capabilities, taught me perseverance, resilience, and also helped me to become the person I am today professionally. I got married to my wonderful husband, Mr. Junoj. I call him the calmest person on the earth. We have 2 amazing kids, Vishwajit and Niranjan. I moved to Dubai in 2011 and then moved to Abu Dhabi in 2016. After that, I joined at Abu Dhabi Ports Group. I still continue with the group in the Business Excellence Department. That's in short about my story. With that, I would like to call it a day. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I look forward to a day when I would be able to speak to a much larger audience in my organization, perhaps. Thank you very much. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Toastmaster Ashish is being evaluated by Toastmaster Rajesh. Please welcome Toastmaster Rajesh to share the objectives and title, please.
The purpose of this project is to write a speech with the basic purpose. That is, the speech should be with the starting, body, and the conclusion. And the speech should not be quixotic, very tough. So it should be realistic, and the speech could be of informative or motivational or humorous. Yeah. Anything will do. You should entertain the audience. Over to you.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, team of the evening. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Have you heard about Maya Angelou? She was one of the most revered writers of our time. She once said, "I have written 11 books, and each time I said to myself, they will call me out soon. I have played a game on them, and soon they will find me or catch me." Or Albert Einstein, whose name is synonymous with the word genius, once described himself as a swindler, meaning to say, he felt that he mistakenly convinced everybody that he was a genius despite his great achievements. Now, from these words of these geniuses, a universal truth can be found. It's a phenomenon called as imposter syndrome. And tonight, I want to delve into the subject of imposter syndrome, an experience that all of us may face or is currently facing that causes us to doubt our abilities. So today we will discuss what imposter syndrome is, the causes, and how we can overcome it. Let's begin by understanding what imposter syndrome is. Imposter syndrome is when an individual feels like they are not as capable or as good as what others think they are. They may constantly doubt their abilities and feel like they are on the verge of being called out. They may feel like a fraud and they may feel very, very anxious and worried. But this is a very common phenomenon and it can affect individuals, high achievers and students alike. There are also studies that says 70% of individuals will face this phenomenon at least once in their lives. I remember when I first came to UAE to work as a naval architect to join my present company, I knew for a fact that I had worked on many projects and had the mentorship of great individuals, but still I couldn't get over this feeling of this great doubt looming around me, saying that I was not qualified enough for this job. I thought to myself that this present job deals with the construction of advanced military vessels, whereas I only have experience working with commercial vessels. But I knew that this thinking was not wrong. But to find out what it was, I started researching online. That is when I came to know about this phenomenon called imposter syndrome. And I also realized that this is very common and there are a lot of people who go through this. Now that we have understood what imposter syndrome is, let's understand what the cause is. Firstly, one of the major causes is perfectionism. We always tend to set very high goals for ourselves. Sometimes we may not be able to achieve them consistently, and this may cause us to doubt ourselves. It's almost like a quixotic dream, always far away and we never achieving it. Secondly, it's from societal and social and workplace expectations, always comparing ourselves to others, especially the perfectly polished portrayals of success on social media. Then we may tend to see that and tend to believe that we are far behind everybody else. But that is far from the truth. What social media doesn't show is the amount of challenges or troubles those individuals went through to achieve that success. Now that we have understood what the causes of imposter syndrome is, now let us look at 3 practical strategies to overcome this. Firstly, it is to simply talk about it. Openly having a conversation with trusted mentors or peers and hearing their experiences and even then confiding in us that they too experiences can be incredibly relieving. Secondly, collecting and revisiting positive feedback. When we feel doubtful, or let's say whenever we get positive feedback, always note down in a journal. And whenever we feel doubtful, looking back at it can be very helpful. For example, a professor once felt as all the errors in her laboratory was due to her mistake. But she began to document everything and soon realized that it was a mistake of the faulty equipments. Thus, she acknowledged her competence and gained confidence. And thirdly, and the final point is to understand that this is very common. Even greats such as Albert Einstein and Maya Angelou went through this. So knowing that this is a shared experience, we can begin building confidence in our abilities. Now, as I conclude, let's summarize all the points we discussed here. We talked about what imposter syndrome is. We talked about the causes such as perfectionism and comparing ourselves to others. Then we talked about the 3 strategies how to overcome this. And those are talking about it, collecting and revisiting positive feedback, and also acknowledging that this is a common shared experience. In the words of Maya Angelou, she said, "You alone are enough. You don't need to prove to anybody." Let's remember that feeling inadequate in ourselves is part of being human, and that does not define our self-worth. Over to you, Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you.
Our next speaker, who always set the bar too high for the beginners, Toastmaster Jonathan. Jonathan is being evaluated by Toastmaster Ashwak. Please welcome TM Ashwak for speech objectives.
Good evening. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and good evening once again to Jonathan. And he is doing presentation mastery level 1 project 2, and that is writing a speech with the purpose. It's the same project but in a different pathway. Okay, the purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. So the topic is something he can choose, and he need to write a well-organized speech, maybe a humorous speech or an educative speech, whatever he chooses. And Toastmaster, or I request Toastmaster Apam to come here, and his topic is principles of winning your audience. Principles of winning your audience. Toastmaster Apam Jonathan. Over to you.
Acting President of the club, fellow Toastmasters, good evening. My name is Jonathan. I would like to ask, how do you ensure that you don't deliver a quixotic speech in your meetings? How do you ensure that you speak like a professional in your meetings? How do you deliver a very powerful speech when you are given the opportunity? How are some people able to do that, such that when you listen to them, you cannot take attention of them? This evening, I'm going to give you some 4 basic principles that if you follow them sequentially, I am very sure that you'll be able to deliver a very good message in your meetings, presentations, speeches, wherever you find yourself, public, many people, or even yourself and your friends, you will be able to speak very well. The first thing you need to know when you want to deliver a speech or when you want to present a message, the first thing is that you need to establish a purpose. Now, let's take our mobile phones for example. When you are scrolling on TikTok or Facebook, it takes you 5 seconds to decide whether you want to watch a video or not. Why is that? Because you are looking for a purpose of why you are going to watch the video or not watch it. So when you are given an opportunity to deliver a presentation, be it, let's say you have an advertising company that you want to talk about, or let's say you're a marketing professional, you want to deliver a presentation to win customers, the first thing you need to know is that within the first 15 seconds of your delivery, the person listening to you is either going to establish why should I listen to you? And it's either you're going to entertain them or educate them or edutain them. So when you scroll on your TikTok, your Facebook, and so on and so forth, you are looking at this message. Is it going to educate me? Is it going to inform me? Or is it going to make me happy? Is it comic? What is it at all? The moment you are not able to establish that within 5 to 15 seconds, you just swipe off. It is the same way when you are talking to audience. The first 15 seconds is very important. And if you're able to establish a purpose within that 15 seconds, you have been able to catch the attention of your audience. The second thing is when you catch the attention of your audience, that is not just it. Because you have the ability to sustain them till the end of your speech. How do you do that? Andy Clark said that. He's a cognitive psychologist who said that the mind is a calculative, predictive machine. And I will take your phone for example again, or your mobile phone keyboard, or the computer keyboard. When you are typing, the computer keyboard predicts what you have been doing. And usually you just go to click that without typing all the words. The same way your mind works, when you are listening to anything or you are working on something, the mind is predicting faster than you can think. So what next am I going to hear from Apam? What is he going to say at the end of the speech? If you allow your audience to predict from the first to the last of your speech or your presentation, the mind will just tell them not important. Just leave it. You will not be able to sustain your audience from the beginning to the end. So you have to be able to win them by establishing a purpose and then finding a way to suspend your message. If I just come here and tell you that I'm going to deliver 3 important things that will help you deliver your speech well. Number 1, you have to be able to establish a purpose. Number 2, you have to suspend your audience. You will just say, you will predict where I'm going. You will stop listening to me. But I'm trying my best to suspend you so that you listen to the last 2 things. That's how you are able to win your audience and suspend them, and then you're able to take them to the end of it. The third thing you have to do is to be concise and timely with everything you want to say in your presentation. If, let's say, this was not a timed speech and I was given any volume of time to speak, and I tell you I'm going to give you 45 steps to be able to speak well, what would you think? When is he going to finish? Once you do that, everybody will pick their phone or will start writing anything quixotic. They don't care about what you want to say. But the moment you are timely, I'm going to give you only 4. Only 4, he will finish soon. Let me pay attention. So that's how you're able to suspend your audience and keep them through to listen to you to the end of your message. Even if they don't end the message, at least they will be able to follow you to some reasonable point of view. The last thing you have to do is to be able to manage your tone. Now, managing your tone is very important. And it's not only about you speaking loud and slow. Most of the time, when you are speaking, there are some key things you want to stretch it, or you want people to really pay attention to it. When you get to those key words, you need to stretch your voice. For example, I'm going to tell you 3 important things. So instead of saying 3 important things, I said 3, so that it gives you some time to realize that this is an important thing I want to mention. But when you are rushing or you finish very quickly, you are not giving your audience the time to think of what is important or what is more important than other things that you have said in your speech. So you being able to raise your tone at the right time, bring your tone down at the right time, with the right keywords, you are giving the audience opportunity to learn about the many things that you want them to take note. And some of these things are the reason you would speak and people will be writing. And sometimes some people will be speaking and nobody will write anything, because you are not giving your audience what you want them to write through your speech. You are not giving your audience what you want them to keep in mind. You are not giving your audience the time to keep some things in check. You are just speaking from A to Z without you giving them the opportunity. Think about it this way. Your audience are like children. And you are the one determining what they will say, they will listen. However, you have to observe your audience to see whether or not what you are saying, they like it or not. Once you're able to do all of these 4 things, just like Andy Clark said, if the mind is a predictive instrument, then if you're able to predict your audience very well, and you're able to suspend them to the end, they will be able to listen to you. Thank you very much, fellow Toastmasters. Over to you.
Our next speaker, he is completing his pathway. Toastmaster Vivek, a great achievement actually, being in a growth mindset and continuing to be having a growth mindset and achieving his pathway. Toastmaster Vivek is being evaluated by TM Puran Rai. Please welcome TM Puran Rai for the speech objectives and title, please.
The project is pretty complicated. It's going to be very challenging for me to evaluate him, because it's a 360-degree evaluation. It's called a 360-degree evaluation. So I hope I'll not have a quixotic evaluation for you. Over to you, Toastmaster Vivek.
Have you ever heard the word TCO? Those who are in business or especially in supply chain, Yeah. The total cost of ownership. This is going to impact in the cost of any assets you are going to purchase. Recently, I have completed a project as part of my profession. However, in the personal life, how it is going to affect. Toastmaster of the evening, fellow members and guests, good evening. First of all, I would like to ask you, how many of you recently purchased any assets? Property, car, at least air conditioner, refrigerator? Yeah, car you purchased, right? How you come to the decision, which model, which brand, some of any emotional or based on the value assertion, or
The first car was based on my pocket. The decision was based on my pocket and my wallet, the size of my wallet. And the second car was based on my size. I just wanted something where my back would not hurt and sit inside.
comfortness. So the decisions are coming from different aspects, scenario. See, based on the cost, budget you have, he's telling his comfortness is important. I like sometimes the color, the yellow cars I like. Really, my wife like the red color car so much. So these all are there, but eventually, is it chaotic? What is the name? Realistic? It's not that realistic. Chaotic. Okay. So that word is quite tough. Then realistic is the easy way. So the total cost of ownership is the elaboration of the word. What is total cost of ownership? I would like to explain this one. Total cost of ownership refers to the comprehensive assessment to all costs associated with acquiring, operating, maintaining, and also disposing an asset its entire life. Now you get an idea. Not just the tag price is decision, but after that, how you are going to operate, how you are going to maintain, repair, and at the end, how you are going to dispose these assets. So today I am going to explain you some of the components in what you are adding in the while calculating the total cost of ownership, and what is the benefits, and finally I'll conclude. So let us look some of the components of total cost of ownership. Suppose Toastmaster Yusuf purchased a car. So what are the initial cost? The tag price. Maybe suppose I'm going to purchase a car, Nissan Maxima, 100,000. But immediately there is 5% tax will come. These two we call acquisition cost. Next one is the fuel. How much monthly you are paying for the petrol. Depends upon the cylinders. Especially Maxima is maximum petrol they take. The maintenance and other repairs. Coming to the insurance, next cost you have to add. Insurance is too much high, Maxima, because the pull-up high and accident rate is high. So insurance cost comparing with other Maxima may be higher. Licensing after that. The depreciation cost. Every year the bank is depreciate 15% or depends upon 20%. Now coming to the other area, the interest. If you are taking from the bank loan, interest you have to pay, and how you are going to resale after 5 years, 10 years, or whether it is scrap. Some of the benefits while calculating. Comprehensive cost assessment, better budgeting. Depends upon your budget you can purchase. informed decision making, because you get all information. Now you can take decisions. Cost control, value optimization, finance planning. You can plan, maybe go for this or that. The remaining amount you can finance to other areas. And the risk, unnecessary, you will not involve any risk. Coming to the final area, I would like to show some examples. This is some examples. See, the cost of one, the car is 100,000, initial purchase, then insurance, fuel yearly, then maintenance annually, depreciation, financing cost. This all you add whenever you go for purchasing any assets. Just add, and after that you can find out the total cost of ownership. This is the, every year you have to pay 33,000. If you go for another car, maybe 70,000 start with, then the total cost of ownership will be different. If you go higher Nissan Patrol or Land Cruiser, this will be different one. So after all, any purchases, please think about whether it is in your company or personal life. Focus on the lowest total cost of ownership, not the lowest price. Over to you. Thank you.
Alexander, he took 6 minutes and 5 seconds. TM Upham Jonathan, he took 6 minutes and 59 seconds. TM Vivek took 7 minutes and 12 seconds. So all of them are qualified.
See that structure? First, she mentioned historical importance of her native place. Then she walked us through the studies, family, the career, and how she is here now. And a superb conclusion. So, second objective that also is met, and you have done your project 1 successfully. Congratulations again. Now, let me highlight the positive sides of Toastmaster Divya's speech, right? The opening was great, as I mentioned. It was having a historical importance of the hailing place. Then she had the confidence in her. You have seen that one. She was so confident, and the voice was very clear and it was audible. And the best thing is she was covering all the audience. Very good eye contact with the entire audience, right? And then the passion, right? When she was speaking about her family, we can see that eyes glittering, right? So when she speak about her father, he was brave and a cool husband and the kids. So it all connecting to the audience, and that was radiating from your eyes, and it is fantastic. Now, when you say evaluate a speech, there is something which I felt which you could probably improve on is maybe because you were using the mic in hand, so you didn't move much, right? And the gestures were limited because you have one hand is engaged. You couldn't use your both hands. So that is one thing. And second thing was you could use a bit more pauses in the speech, right? Pause in between, so that you'll grab more attention. The expert says pauses or silence are the biggest tool in any communication or conversation. Now, to challenge you, you could go for longer speeches and with serious contents, right? So that will make you more successful. Now, what I say, right? The Toastmasters Purin, right? You have a contestant in making. So over to you. Congratulations, Deepa. Over to Toastmaster.
Toastmaster of the evening, fellow members, once again, good evening. We all know Toastmaster Ashish can design a ship which can float, which can cut through the water smoothly. Today he proved he is the same skill of writing the speech. The speech was so smooth, and it had a starting, opening, body and conclusion. And he had a very good informative speech. That is impromptu syndrome, isn't it? Imposter syndrome. I should have read that title anyway. And maybe I am not using that, or I am using that, because he was telling all the famous persons like Maya Angelou, Einstein, everybody was suffering, not exactly suffering, they were imposter syndrome. And he did a very good research on this. And any scriptwriter, they have to research on the topic. And he had very good research on that. He had all the data, and he had mentioned us. It was a new topic for most of us, especially for me, and it was very quite informative. And I'm not sure whether since the childhood we'll do that impromptu syndrome, because we try to imitate somebody. Otherwise, we'll not able to speak or walk unless you this thing. But he told us why we are doing it after adult, how we are following others in social media and all. And finally concluded how to control this also. But about the technicality of the speech, he had used the stage very well, and he had a good flow of the words and good flow of the speeches. And only thing I can say is sometime you are looking at the ground and people are eagerly watching all beautiful faces you can see once while you are delivering the speech. And as Jonathan was telling, that create some suspense at the end before concluding. And everybody wanted to know how to control whether it's, and in the conclusion we were not very sure whether we should do or should not do. Because sometimes following somebody is good for us, I believe. But where we have to do, where we have to stop. Somewhere you mentioned in the social media what is shown is not correct. Don't follow that one. That is excellent. And some areas you should have given the voice modulation, because I felt the speech was monotonous. Some areas the audience were feeling little. I think otherwise the speech was excellent. This project 2 you cleared in flying colors. Over to you.
Thank you, team. That is. Please welcome Toastmaster Ashfaq for Jonathan's speech review.
Correct. So today I am evaluating Toastmaster Appam Jonathan, the level 1 project 2. I feel that he came and he conquered, isn't it? He conquered everyone, and his title is merging with that. Principles of winning the audience. He has chosen an excellent topic. And not only preach what you practice, he not only preached that principle of winning, he just demonstrated exactly what he wanted to tell. By doing all the 4 principles he has done it just like that. I like that part. He started the speech with a rhetoric question. A rhetoric question is an attention grabber. So he asked how now to make a speech quixotic, right? So that is actually created a sort of curiosity in every one of us. Well, everybody want to know how to make. So he created a curiosity, and he just hooked it. And that is the first thing that he wanted to do in the 4 principles that he taught us today. Right? It's an educative, informative speech. There's no humor, but it's an informative. We got a lot to learn from this speech as a Toastmaster, right? The second thing is he talked about 4 things. That means he told four things. That means he set a expectation that he is going to talk 4 topics. So he gave us the 4 things how to grab he talked about the tonality, pace, and being concise and timely, the importance of timing in a thing. If you drag too much, you will lose attention, creating a curiosity, and concluding. These are the fine things that is required in a speech, and he did exactly what is required. And when it comes to the gestures, when it comes to the pronunciation, we are able to understand every single word that he is saying. That's another good part of it. Now, let's get into the what needs to be improved, the improvements. Now, if you look at the speech of Toastmaster Jonathan and Toastmaster Ashish, they're both doing the same, topic is the same, but they're doing in a different pathways. So now if you deliver the same thing, now if you see every pathway, the first 2 levels are the same topics. And I was researching what should be the difference between Toastmaster Appam and Toastmaster Ashish. Since he is doing a presentation, mastery, that is his top pathway that he has chosen. To be a good presenter, it's better to have some sort of props or audio visuals or a presentation. Okay, that if you that will be a distinctive from the other pathways. Okay, the other pathways, they can just come and do a delivery and walk away. But when you are learning and doing a presentation mastery, it's better that you can come up with some props or some video you can show. When he started with this, he's giving an example of TikTok, right? So he can show a TikTok video or something that will help us. The second thing in the presentation mastery is being interactive with the audience. It's not going to, if you want to do a presentation mastery pathway, you need to sort of ask some questions. He has asked a rhetoric question, but create an interaction so that people answer them. So these are the two improvements that I suggest to Toastmaster Appam. Overall, it is a well structured, and he met his speech objective. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Toastmaster, good evening. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening again. A special good evening to Toastmaster Vivek. First of all, congratulations Toastmaster Vivek, because I think you have fulfilled the objective of your speech, which was lessons learned from leading a team for some project, and what are the lessons you learned, you shared with us, and we can see that there's a lot of lessons you learned and made us learn as well, especially about how to consider the costs when you're going to buy anything. So that was one of the biggest lessons we all learned, I think, from his speech, which is going to help Toastmaster Yusuf also when he buys a car. He's definitely going to consider all the points you pointed out here in today's speech. Now, talking about the speech itself, the opening was very professional because you started off by asking a question. And not only asking a question, you're also engaging the audience by asking some gentlemen about a few things about their opinion, and then sharing your ideas about how to go about buying, purchasing anything. So that opening was very, very good, so that you immediately engaged the crowd, and then you kept us engaged by going through the processes of what you should consider when you're buying a car or when you're buying any goods. Like it could be a car, it could be a house, it could be a furniture, it could be a fridge, it could be an air conditioner, anything. So what are the points to consider? And he went very thoroughly through each and every point. So that was another thing which I think was in the main body of the speech. He opened up very well by attracting our attention and by introducing his topic. And then in the main body of the speech, he went through the whole thing about what are the steps to follow and what are the steps to consider when you're going to purchase anything. So I think that really was very educative for the audience, and which is very important. So to keep the audience engaged also, he kept us very interested. And then he concluded by giving a very good example. So what you should consider when you're buying. So that really helped me also, because if I want to buy a car, I know what to look for, some basic things which we miss, and we may be sorry later on. We may regret later on. So this was the main part of the speech. But what are the things which I liked, and what are the things I think you could have done better? The thing what I liked was your movement. You used the whole stage, which is very good. You are going up, you're going sideways, you're going this way, and you're engaging all the audience. That showed your confidence, and that showed how you are using the stage. The only thing where I think you could have done a little better was, I think, in voice modulation. Like when you're talking about buying a car, you should actually you can vary your voice. You can say, okay, what do you look for when you're buying a car? You may not consider this, you may not consider that, but do you realize that by not doing that, you could end up making a big loss because of this? You did not consider the insurance factor, you didn't consider that factor. There you could have, I think, modulated your voice. That's one area where you can do better. And the other thing is, I think you concluded the speech in a very soft tone. I think you could have done a little better on that. So apart from that, I really enjoyed the speech. All the best. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Today, for the table topics, I haven't prepared any questions actually. Instead, I have brought a bag full of objects. So you can come forward and you can grab any object and speak on that. Usually these table topics used to be very fun and interesting. Let's see how it goes. I will try my best.
What we used to use is a scientific calculator. I believe many of you already know it. My first one was an FX82 or an FX80. 82, yeah. And then the second one was an 85. And then when I graduated, it was a 92 or 95. Now I heard they have reached 100 and something. They have those pink calculators, which we didn't have at our times. It was only black. I don't know what this one can do other than just adding and subtracting some numbers. It doesn't do equations, it doesn't do anything. However, it could be helpful. Everybody uses Casio here. Did anybody use what they call Texas Instrument calculators before? Did anybody use it? I believe people working in oil and gas use those types of Texas Instruments, right? Have you ever felt comfortable while using Texas Instruments? I believe Casio is the best. And I vote always for Casio. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I really have nothing to say about calculators anymore.
Thank you.
Good evening, Toastmasters of the day and guests. Any book I see, it's all books only that comes to me. So since the word we had today is quixotic and something I mentioned about Harry Potter, I would like to say I just grew up with it, with Harry Potter books. And it was an imaginative world. Trust me, the sixth book, it was almost 670 pages and I finished it in 1.5 days. Back and forth, no food. My mom was behind me, come on, eat. I was in my teen years. That mad I was. And I really hoped I would receive that letter. And now I know how stupid I was at that time. So that's it. Any book. Today I wanted to say about Harry Potter. Thank you.
This is hand cream. I remember back in the olden days, we used to use lime and lemon for our hands after eating so that the scent will be wiped off. But now, because of science and everything is moving, the world is moving faster, we have this hand cream so that even after food, you can use it to moisturize your hands, as it contains almond oil also to make your hand very soft. And it is nice also to use. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Toastmaster of the day, all the fellow members and guests. So I was expecting chocolate in the bag, but I got this one. We know now summer season, most of us, we are wearing this sunglass. We are 45 to 50 degree temperature and if you want to go outside, at least even to go for a Bakkala near to our home, we need to use this one, this nowadays. If not there, after we coming back, we will feel more tired and these things. So, in my experience, I started to use this after I reached here in UAE, because in our place it's not required. In the earlier days, now it's required. Now, in temperature in our place also increased. These kind of small things which we need to use for our better health. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think we will stop here due to timing limitations. So that's about the table topics. Thank you.
He referred a term about psychology in human brain, and he gave example for keyboard also, like
Calculative, predictive.
no. Shall I tell or?
Keyboard will predict whatever we are typing as.
No, before that, he referred some term for psychology. Yes, right. Cognitive. Okay. Cognitive psychology. T.M. Ashfaq, he said the candidate who passed in the interview, he said some proverb, he said some sentence.
I can sleep when there is a stress.
And T.M. Vivek, for TCO, what is the
Total cost of
okay. 1 second. Which year T.M. Divya moved to Abu Dhabi from Dubai? 16, correct. And T.M. Ashish said that Albert Einstein and one more. Yes, correct. My answer. Okay. Okay, thank you all.
Good evening once again. When I found this word, quixotic, I thought it's a very positive word like fantastic. But then it had a negative effect. You see, impractical to the extent of being foolish. So we have a couple of Toastmasters who use this. Toastmaster Ashfaq used it once, Toastmaster Rajesh, Toastmaster Ashish, Toastmaster Vivek, Toastmaster Purandrai, Toastmaster Gada. All of them used once. Toastmaster Jonathan used it twice. Other than that, there are a couple of things we came to know today, that is imposter syndrome. The speech had very effective words. I found it very nice in the sense that very good words were used: confidence, inadequate, competence, perfectionism. It was all very positive words, not quixotic. Toastmaster Jonathan's speech also gave me some rules like 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. That was nice. And the TCO reminded me of a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a very nice book. That's all about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters of the day. So today's job was very easy. First, I will go to T.M. Vivek. Only one long pause. Everything was perfect. Then T.M. Jonathan. There was so perfect. There was no there was nothing to count. Then T.M. Ashish. Only one time word repeat from this or something like that. I forget. Then Toastmaster Divya. One long pause. Someone said there is no long pause, but I found one long pause. And the word are 4 times I found. That's all.
The way they eat, about diet. So I have knowledge and I have learned something about diet, and I share my knowledge there to help people who want to be fit, strong and active. But the way I present myself, and someone introduced me to Toastmaster on social media, that okay, this is where I can able to at least express something well, to make my things snappy and also be more bright for my own growth. I see everything like very simple, and at the same time it's open mind. That's what I noticed. That's why I am here. Thank you.
Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. In which mindset are you now? Growth mindset or fixed mindset? Of course, we are here to grow. That's why we spent almost 2 hours this evening to understand something new. Today, the meeting started somehow on time. My watch had a different time and the phone also was waiting time, so I recorded it as 8:03. It is really a good time to start off with, and I was seeing that Toastmaster Ashwak was hurrying up to start the meeting on time. This is a good sign that we are maintaining an excellent time management system. Our Sergeant-at-Arms, Toastmaster Yusuf, started the meeting by stating the mission of Toastmasters. This is something we all should listen in a serious manner, that what's the real mission of Toastmasters. He mentioned it very clearly, and he invited our acting president for the day, Toastmaster Ashwak, to the dais, and he opened the meeting in a very well manner. Later, he introduced one of the club officer who heads the vice president membership role, Toastmaster Divya, and she briefly explained what she's doing exactly behind that role in specific. Then the captain of the ship for today, Toastmaster Deepu George, was invited, and he showcased what's the theme and how we need to differentiate between growth mindset and fixed mindset. Later, the role players were introduced. Even if you are doing a role for 10 seconds, at the end you are contributing to a meeting to make it more successful. So big applause to all the role players who supported for this meeting. Today we have one guest. I cannot call him as a guest because he knows the in and outs of Mussafah Toastmasters, and later one more guest was called in, he came in. So Toastmaster Abdurrahman, thank you for coming, and we look forward to having you here. And you also, we believe that you liked the meeting, and we look forward to having you here as well. Thought of the day was delivered by Toastmaster Ashwak, and Toastmaster Ashwak always, he has his own style, and he emphasized that how we need to be more proactive. When it comes to prepared speeches, I don't want to comment that much because everyone showed their passion to improve themselves on the public speaking, and we showed different modulations from icebreaker to advanced speeches as well. So even if we were sitting behind, we were seeing like how a speaker should use various techniques to deliver the speech. Of course, evaluators, they also evaluated the specific speaker which were assigned to them, and they gave the constructive feedback wherever needed. Table topics change the dynamics. Innovation always brings some new spirits, and this will guide the members also to think properly and speak. Even if you are giving a needle also has a story. So that story, we are narrating it as a table topic. Toastmaster Sharavanan tested our listening skills, and majority of us were attentive throughout the meeting, and I believe a couple of questions took some time for the audience to answer. And the reports gave by Wordmaster, Accounter, they also did their job very well. Big round of applause to all of you. When it comes to a regular meeting, Toastmaster, as we all know, it's a non-profitable global organization, and they set their own guidelines, and we follow that guidelines. It's the same way if you are going to a KFC, KFC has a brand guidelines. Have you ever seen a KFC with a blue color? No. KFC is having a red, right? This is the way you differentiate. All of you have the agenda, right? Just check the agenda. We have our club name and the number. Every agenda that should be rolled out to the members or to the guests. Club name, number, area, division, and district should be mentioned. This is mandatory. Moving forward, whoever is preparing the agenda, this should be mentioned. Second thing, each and every member has his first name and second name. If we see the overall consistency of the agenda, some of the members have only first name. I know Indian passport, they are not issuing members with first name only. You need second name. Right, no? So, if you are a new person to the club, you can ask either the president or vice president membership that I need the full members list. Moving forward, if any one of you is going to take the Toastmaster of the Day role, you go to either one of this person, I need the members list, where you can see the first name and the second name. If there is any change that's going to happen, we should find some task force, in the sense that some members, they love to give surprise at the last moment. This will really put the Toastmaster of the Day and the VP Education in trouble, because they need to find someone. So moving forward, if any member have any difficulty, because we at the end we all are people who work for some company or organization or anywhere, we may get some surprises at the last moment. So at least inform the VPE directly rather than putting in the group, because this will change the spirit of the members to come for the meeting. So inform the VPE or the TM or the Toastmaster of the Day directly. These are some basic tips which I need to give, because in this way we maintain a consistency throughout the upcoming meetings, so all know the way how we need to follow. One more suggestion, which is the last, which I want to say. Toastmaster of the Day role in specific, this role is for a member to learn how to manage a project. It's a kind of a project management skill, where you are bringing a topic, you should prepare and you should know how to inject it properly throughout the 2-hour time. Second thing, you need a task force. At least 10 people should be there, bare minimum 10 people should be there. It's an opportunity for the Toastmaster of the evening to know that member in specific. I started off with Toastmaster. My first meeting was during September 2010, and I worked with majority of the veteran club members at that time. They don't allow you to start the meeting unless you have checked with the role players before the meeting gets started. So moving forward, the Toastmaster of the Day should check with the role players that they will be coming and they are well versed with the role what they are going to take. In this way, we all have a professional approach, and each and every meeting, trust me, will have a great takeaway. Over to you.
It's for a very interesting part of the day, the awards for the best role player. Any guess? It's none other than Toastmaster Biko George. The next is the best speaker award. Any guess? Toastmaster Adam Jonathan. Okay, the evaluation speech. The best evaluation speech is done by Toastmaster Abdul Rahman. Table topics is none other than Toastmaster Anush. Louder. Toastmaster meeting. I hope next Toastmasters meeting will be much better, much improved. There will be a lot of growth. Learning. Today we had a very good learning opportunity. Thank you to Toastmaster people for taking that. The next Toastmaster meeting will be on 21st August, and it will be led by Toastmaster Devi. Let's call it a day. Toastmaster meeting number 38 is closed.